Hi, my name is Sayed Mustafa Hussain, and today I'm going to be reflecting on the topic of affordances in HCI, a course which I've been taking in Habib University. So, when I think about human-computer interaction, one concept I keep coming back to is affordances, the idea that an object's design tells us how it should be used. It's a simple idea on the surface, but the more I reflect on it, the more I realize how deeply it shapes the way we navigate both digital and physical worlds. Affordances are basically like those subtle clues built into a system. The shape of a handle that tells you how tells you to pull it instead of pushing. The shadow under a button that suggests that it can be pressed. A slider that wants you to drag it. When affordances are done well, they almost disappear. We don't think about them, we just act. And surprisingly, that invisibility is the clear sign of their success. We see it everywhere. But what fascinates me is how fragile that success is. The moment an affordance is missing, ambiguous, or misleading, the entire interaction collapses. We push a door that needed to be pulled. We tap a UI element that isn't actually clickable. We stare at a screen, wondering why something looks like a button, but it isn't. It's in these moments of confusion that affordances suddenly reveal their importance. What I reflect on most is how affordances form a kind of silent conversation between designers and users. There are no instructions, there are no labels, there are no tutorials. There's just an expectation that the user will understand the clues embedded in the design. And when those clues are intuitive, it feels empowering. But when they're unclear, it seems like the system is speaking a language that we don't understand. Digital affordances make this even more interesting. In the physical world, a button looks like something that can be pressed because it physically protrudes. But in digital interfaces, everything is flat. Designers have to simulate affordances through color, contrast, depth, motion, or even conventions. That's why the flat design trend created so many usability problems. When everything looks minimalist, nothing looks clickable anymore. Reflecting on this makes me realize that affordances are not just features, they're agreements. They rely on shared mental models between users and designers. And those models evolve over time. A hamburger menu means navigation now, but 10 years ago it meant nothing. A blue underline means a hyperlink, but only because decades of web use trained us to expect that. So affordances aren't static, they live and they grow with us. And this raises a question. What happens when our mental models change faster than interfaces can keep up, or when designers prioritize aesthetics over clarity, or when new technologies like VR, assistants, or AR break every traditional assumption about how interaction works? It's in those spaces that users often feel lost. And what's interesting is that confusion is not just a user error, it's a design failure. Affordances place responsibility on the designer to anticipate the user's expectations and not on the user to interpret ambiguous cues. Another thing I reflect on is how powerful false affordances and hidden affordances can be. A false affordance suggests that you can do something you actually cannot, like a fake button that does nothing. And a hidden affordance allows an action but it gives no clue that that action exists, like swiping gestures that new users never discover. Both cases reveal gaps between design intention and user perception. And that's one of the deepest lessons that affordances teaches us. Design cannot rely on the designer's perspective, it must reflect the user's perspective. And if users don't perceive an action as possible, then for them it is impossible. And as interaction design becomes more complex with smart devices, automation, and AI driven features, the role of affordances becomes even more crucial. How does a smart thermostat communicate that it's learning your behavior? How does a voice assistant reveal what commands it understands? And how does a system show what will it do before it does it? These questions remind me that affordances are not only about usability, they are about trust. When a design clearly communicates actions and outcomes, users feel in control. But when the design hides possibilities or behaves unpredictably, trust erodes. And when I reflect on affordances, I realize that they are ultimately about respect. Respect about the user's cognition, their intuition, and their natural way of understanding the world. The more technology evolves, the easier it becomes to forget this. Yet, the most powerful interactions remain the ones where the user doesn't even have to think about how to use the system. They only think about what they want to achieve. And that, to me, is the quiet power of affordances. They guide, they support, they communicate, all without speaking a single word. Thank you.